Greetings, BArcadians, and welcome to another episode of the BA Gaming News Show with your host, me, Tabs, and my good friend of many years, my gaming friend, Rich. Say hello, Rich.
You've taken it too far. You've taken it instantly
too far.
Too far.
Did you get the reference there?
What, of my ridiculous intros every other week?
Yeah, I was also going for an in-betweeners reference with
yeah, I liked it. Yeah. But anyway, hello, BArcadians.
Greetings, BArcadians. So yeah, we've got some more news stories as always to discuss with you every Friday at 5 p.m. UK time. Make sure you smash the like button to help us grow, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications to stay abreast of everything we put out. First of all, before we dive into the three main topics as we discuss most weeks, we are going to talk about what we've been up to, what we've been playing in the gaming world this week. So, Rich, do you want to kind of tell us? It's a joint story, isn't it, this week?
Yeah, it is. I think we left last week on the BA News and we were going to try and tame a red dragon, which we did. We cheesed it away.
Demon Souls, by the way.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes.
Tuning in fresh.
So Demon Souls, as Tab says. Last week we were going to tame a red dragon, which we did. And then we've been on and just done lots of other things, done multiple bosses now, done the shield boss. We're just working through it. It's a tough game, I have to say, a really tough game. I find it, I'm peaks and troughs in it. Sometimes I could be on cloud nine with it. Sometimes I can literally want to snap the disc in half.
But mate, you're missing out the best thing that we've got to share with the BArcadians, the revelation we had.
Oh yes, so you may have heard we're like concurrently playing this. So we're playing together but separately. That was the plan. But we've actually learned after last week's BA News show that we can actually play in each other's worlds. We have this, I think it's like a soul stone that allows us to put these signs down so we can be transported into each other's world and actually play the game co-op. So which, you know, it's been an amazing revelation. So places where we've been stuck, we've been able to help each other. Farming has been easier where we wouldn't be able to do areas on our own. So yeah, revelation, and I know you've enjoyed that, Sabs.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, mate. You've been very low ebb at times as a Temple Knight, to the point where I was convinced you were going to stop playing it and snap the disc in half. I think that was mentioned at one point. So, yeah, this is truly a revelation, because it basically means if we get to any sticking points at all on our playthrough, well, straight away I can just jump into your world, help you clear a section, and vice versa as well. And it also means, you know, if I'm perhaps, because you tend to die a little bit more than me, and I'm farming all the souls and managing to do great.
Shots fired.
No, but for reasons we've explained. But what it means is I can, again, jump into a world with you like Island's Edge, and we can just level grind for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So it means there shouldn't be any major kind of hurdles or blockages throughout the rest of the playthrough of the game, I would hope.
Yeah, and likewise, and this is the whole of the game. So if we're stuck on a particular boss, which the bosses can be very, very difficult. I think we did the Shield Knight boss, and I struggled with that. I must have taken 15, 20 times to do it. Tabs, first time, bang, done.
You had the slowest weapon known to man, which was causing you a lot of problems. Added to that, as soon as you go on a downhill spiral, your temperament just goes out the window, and you just like, you just become self-destructive. Like, I can see your health to slither left, and you just like, I can just see, I'm shouting, heal, Rich, heal, and then you're just going for it. Anyway.
Yeah. So there's some play style issues that need to be addressed, but generally really enjoying it. I would say enjoying it more than I'm not, especially now we can sort of grind it together, and yeah, really enjoying it. So if you haven't played it and you've got a PS5 and you like that sort of game, because it's the type of game that you have to be on board with, definitely go and play it.
Yeah, you need a strong will, Arcadians. But anyway, enough rabbiting on about what we've been playing. We'll catch up with that next week. Let's push on into the main news topics this week. So first up for me to talk you through is the Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village Showcase, which is actually due today. It's Thursday the 21st today when we film. So I think we're going to see that tonight in the UK at 10 p.m. So unfortunately, we're going to miss talking about the actual nitty-gritty details, which we'll catch up with next week. But this is what Push Square had to say about it, and we've got a little bit of a tidbit about some other surprises that might be in store. So here we go. Capcom's been building up anticipation for its upcoming Resident Evil Showcase live stream, and writing on the PlayStation blog, it's outlined a little more about what we can expect when the event gets underway. Social media manager Kellen Haney explains that we'll get an extended trailer that unveils a bit more of the world of Resident Evil Village and mysterious new characters, as well as a first look at gameplay. But that's not all, as the publisher has a few more surprises in store. We know that there's going to be some kind of closed beta test, so it'll be interesting to see what that pertains to. The franchise is also celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and some fans have considered that there could be re-releases of the original PS1 titles made available. That's purely speculation, of course, but we'd certainly be open to it. And then a little bolt-on from Nintendo Life, kind of Switch specific, is last December, Capcom revealed Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, a new CG anime series coming to Netflix in 2021. On the Switch front, there's also been the discovery of a Resident Evil 3 cloud version and a rumour about a third Resident Evil Revelations game, which will be Switch-focused apparently. So, quite a lot to kind of just talk through there, Rich. Obviously, we're excited. I'm certainly excited to see this unveil, to get some real nitty-gritty of the gameplay. I'd love them to cover a section of the game off. A bit like, I think, did they do with the Resident Evil 4 originally?
Yes, they did, yeah.
I'd love to get a real idea of how it's going to feel to play moment to moment. We all want to see what's taken the internet by storm this week. This tall lady, incredibly busty, tall lady that everybody's going crazy about. We want to know and see more of her. But then, yeah, they've also hinted at other surprises. So re-releases of PS1 titles. Could we see this Resident Evil Revelations Switch game, a brand new Switch game maybe? That would be interesting to see. But what do you think, Rich? What do you think we might see? What are you excited to see?
It's really interesting, because although this is not really on my radar because it's going to be first person, which is disappointing. I would have loved the new third person, new Resi franchise, but I don't think we're going to see that. Certainly not for the time being.
You want a remake of Code Veronica, surely?
Well, yeah, obviously, but I don't know whether that's ever going to happen, because I don't know whether it was the most popular. But I think I'm excited to see how it looks, because I want to see a next-gen Resident Evil. We know that some of the remakes have looked incredible, so I think there's a good chance that this will also look really good. And obviously, like Tab says, I want to see what the gameplay's like. How does it look? So that is interesting. The PS1 titles, I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. I feel like it goes against, in some ways, what they've done recently. They've re-released them as remakes, such as Resident Evil 2 and obviously Resident Evil 3. So I don't know why they would then re-release the PS1 classics, and I'm assuming in PS1 form. I don't know. I don't feel like that fits with it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially given how well those Resident Evil's remakes sold.
They've got to do something though, mate, to recognise the 25th anniversary. So that could be something which is a nice gesture for hardcore fans, because as much as, yeah, I know what you're saying, it's been done to death in some ways, and we're seeing these remakes. I'm sure some of the biggest fans out there would love to see, HD versions of the originals come to the PS5, the Switch. I don't know, maybe with some funky looking t-shirts to celebrate the 25th anniversary. I know what you're saying. I'd like to see a bit more myself, a bit more of a risk, a bit more of something new and fresh. But I can't rule that out. I think it could possibly happen. But yeah, I mean, for me, mate, I would love to see. I know the Resident Evil 3. Obviously, we saw that remake. Next in line is 4. We've heard it much rumored. So yeah, I'd like to see something of 4 if it is a real thing. That would be great. But personally, I would really like a Code Veronica remake as well. I think that would look amazing in the engine we've seen, and it was just a great game that returned to quite a lot of some of the kind of the puzzle elements of the Resident Evil series that you and I know and love. So,
and the thing is as well, from a personal point of view, for me and you, Tabs, we played a massive amount of Code Veronica together, and with the new web format of sort of playing together but separately on the PS5, we can literally hark back to those memories on the PS5. We can watch each other play the game. It would be fantastic for us, just on a personal level, to get a Code Veronica remake. So, I'm all for that. So hopefully that's one of the things they announced. But like you say, realistically, it's probably going to be Resident Evil 4 if they announce a remake of any.
I could carry you through the bosses and you can carry me through the puzzles. I mean, it's a match made in heaven, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Demon's Souls all over again.
Anyway, enough about that. Stay tuned, BArcadians. We'll cover it properly next week, and fingers crossed we're in for a nice surprise tonight, whatever happens. But Rich, push us on into topic number 2, please.
Absolutely. So, Naughty Dog's next project. So this article comes from Jewel Shockers. So Neil Druckmann teases on Twitter that The Last of Us Part 2 developer is making something very cool for its next project and leaving it at that. But according to a senior concept artist at Naughty Dog, we could have a hint at their next game if their fantasy-themed artwork is anything to go by. Towards the end of last year, senior concept artist Hyung Nam.
You're on your own there, mate. Yeah, I'll probably go Hyung Nam. Nam.
Shared some of their art pieces to their personal artist station account, which showed a woman leaning on a sword whilst nestled on top of a gigantic dragon's head and going by the blood on her sword. It looks like she killed the beast herself. Also included in Nam's artwork are 2 other women, one with hypnotic eyes and the other shaped in a shaman-like outfit with a ram skull on her head whilst holding a staff that looks to be a human skull sitting on top of it. It's all beautifully well done and intriguing, to say the least. So very interesting. I've actually seen this picture, and while it looks interesting, and it would be very interesting because it would be a complete departure from previous Naughty Dog games that were all in some way based around a skew on reality, I guess, with The Last of Us and obviously the other games they've done in the Uncharted series. It would be interesting to see them delve into this world. How that would look and play out, I don't know. I mean, they're very good at what they do, so I'm sure it would look amazing and play well. So it's very interesting, and it's a nice little tease into what they might be working on next. So interesting. What do you make of this, Tabs?
Yeah, I mean, straight away it evokes God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West. What is it? What was that? Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. It's got all those hallmarks of that sort of a feel, this kind of gritty tribal feel, but obviously the fantasy element coming in the form of this dragon that's been slayed. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it, in terms of, like you point out, Naughty Dog's franchises, series and output in recent times has mostly revolved around very realistic settings, being tied to real life in many ways, whereas this would give them the opportunity to really cut loose and just go nuts with it. The only thing I would say though, mate, is that all those games we've just talked about, it's obviously quite a popular subject matter. So I just hope that I shouldn't doubt them, but I just hope they can bring something new and fresh to it. Go on, mate, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It would make sense that they've gone to their development team and they've gone, right guys, we need a new idea for a game, and everyone's gone, okay, well, can we do something a bit different? We've made these games more grounded in more reality. Can we go do something that we can just be outlandish in, and we can have crazy artwork to work from and stuff like that? So it would make sense that they would want to change that and freshen it up for the development team, so they're working on something a little bit different. So I think it sort of stands to reason that this could be a thing. And as you've just pointed out with some of them games you have just mentioned, it's a very popular like sort of theming at the moment, with lots of big games that we're seeing sort of running in those themes. We've just seen the latest Assassin's Creed in that sort of world. So I think it's a very popular theme at the minute. So there's a lot of pieces sort of meeting together that would make this quite logical that this could be a thing. So yeah, interesting. We'll have to see how this transpires.
Yeah, I mean, you would say surely it's going to be not too far away from the likes of God of War, because they don't have a massive, background in open world games. So you would assume it wouldn't be that. It'd be more of a linear experience. God of War strikes a balance, but it probably leans more towards a linear experience than a truly fully fledged open world game. So, but surely Sony will be hot as well as Naughty Dog, I'm sure, to make sure it's distinct from that, because they don't want, you know, their IPs to feel too samey and, you know, to cover the same ground.
Agreed.
So I, you know, they are creative geniuses, aren't they, at Naughty Dog?
Absolutely.
So I have no doubt they'll make this their own and something completely unique. But yeah, I suppose we've not got a lot to go on at the minute, but we'll rub our hands together in anticipation for the next showing.
Absolutely.
Strange that it's leaked out though, mate, via an artist as well. You know, I thought that was a little bit of a strange manoeuvre, but
anyway, Tabs, let's move on. And it wouldn't be a BA News show without some sort of Cyberpunk reference. So on to the next story.
This is it, titled Cyberpunk Expose, courtesy of Games Radar. So this is covering really the recent report we've seen released by Jason Schreier, Bloomberg. So here we go. A new report that details Cyberpunk 2077's disastrous rollout alleges that many CD Projekt Red staff were aware the game wasn't ready to be released. Bloomberg reports that a number of current and former CDPR staff depict a development process marred by unchecked ambition, poor planning and technical shortcomings, alleging the team was aware of the issues ahead of release. It further alleges that the 2018 E3 demo was almost entirely fake. Interviews with more than 20 current and former CD Projekt staff, most of whom requested anonymity so as not to risk their careers, depict a development process marred by unchecked ambition, poor planning, technical shortcomings. I've just said that, haven't I?
Yeah, I said this to you. I said there's an error in this, but
Sorry, mate, didn't pick that up. Yeah, I must have copy and pasted a little bit too vigorously.
The thing is, as you read it, it sort of says this is what the article's about, but then it says what it's like a quote. So it makes sense that it. When I read it through, anyway, carry on.
Anyway, let's move on. Employees discussing the game's creation for the first time described a company that focused on marketing at the expense of development and an unrealistic timeline that pressured some into working extensive overtime long before the final push. CDPR's Adam Badowski challenged many of the article's assertions, stating he wouldn't call talking with 20 people as most of the 500 people staff. The company employed and insisted that missing features is part of the creation process. He also stated that the company owned up to the old gen console issues and said, "We are proud of Cyberpunk 2077 as a game and artistic vision." So we've got this expose. Jason Schreier has obviously got a big, this is what he loves to do, this is what he's great at. And then we've got this kind of damage control response from CDPR's high up to, basically pour water on those flames. But yeah, I think, Rich, there's not a great deal to say on this because we've discussed it in recent, BA News shows, and in the review. It kind of just confirms, doesn't it, a lot of what we thought, what went wrong with CDPR. We talked about growing pains as they scaled up from The Witcher 3, and I know from reading the article, it does, it literally mentions that a lot of it was kind of pegged on this, resting on the laurels of their past game, The Witcher 3. Well, we achieved The Witcher 3, so, we'll get this done. And that just doesn't go far enough, does it? When you're planning, when you've got 500 employees, you're trying to organise, and a massive, ambitious project to deliver on, it isn't enough just to try and will it along and essentially blackmail your co-workers by saying we don't have any other options, so it's got to get done in time.
I think what's nice about this whole sort of investigation that's been done is it's nice to be proven, and we've spoken at length on our discussions, that the blame with the problems in the game doesn't lie with the people physically making the game. It doesn't lie with the programmers that are coding the game, that are doing it. Doesn't lie with them, and we've tried to say that multiple times on the channel because ultimately they're going to be proud of their work, and it's nice to hear that they've gone to the management, they've gone to the board and said, "No, this is not going to work," or "We're not going to get this done in time," and they've just fell on deaf ears and pushed on regardless. And I think it's a great shame that such fantastically talented people have been mismanaged, absolutely in a terrible way. That's left this like half-broken product, and it's such a shame for the people involved in it. But Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think there'll be more to come on this. I think there'll be lots more things to come on this. And I know we spoke earlier on in the week, Tabs, about the two case law actions against CD Projekt Red now that could be very, very damaging for them as a business. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And I think ultimately there's that Adam Badowski is very careful in what he's saying, so it's not implicating him. And I know he does that the same in his statement, like rebuffing this investigation. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I think they're caught in now, aren't they? They can't. This contrasts with what we saw, earlier, that public apology, and they can't come out, can they, and say, listen, we know we've bodged this and we know we've delivered loads of things that just are unfinished. Because if they do that, then they're just playing into the hands of these two people or two entities that have filed class action lawsuits.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but that then leaves a dissonance, does it, between what we know and feel as gamers, what we're seeing reported on, and what CD Projekt Red are saying to us, which, to be honest, leads to more distrust in the higher-ups, in the board members at CD Projekt Red. So at this point, to be honest with you, they just need to keep their mouths shut, I think, and crack on with things, show their desire to change and make good with actions and get this game up to scratch some way closer to what we were all hoping it would be, and they marketed it to us that it would be.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what would be amazing and what would really make us feel better about the whole scenario as gamers, as worrying for them as a company, is if they just came up and said, listen, we effed up, we did the wrong thing, we made bad decisions. But they cannot do that now. They've messed up so big now that it could have massive financial implications for them, and they just can't do that now. That's not an option. So a real shame. And I think probably we've done Cyberpunk 2077 to death at this point. So we should move on to everything else.
This is it. So let me kick us off. Valve has games in development that we're going to be announcing, says Gabe Newell. Very good.
Yeah, and in active development, I'm hearing. So that's really cool. The Last of Us 2 actress Laura Bailey, mostly hated by fans, actually is in the first game too, and voiced various characters someone has found in the credits of the first game.
Project Mara gets a photorealistic trailer showcasing the game's real-world location. I know I shared a video with this and you were like, wow.
Yeah, I think, honestly, if you haven't seen this, I immediately, as soon as this video is finished, don't go now, wait till the end, go and watch this video, because the detail they've gone to, it's like you can zoom into surfaces and see like the detail of the rock or the leather or whatever it is. I think this is amazing. I think this is going to be groundbreaking moving forward. Is this how we're going to see games moving forward?
It's nice to see new technology pioneered, isn't it? Certainly.
Albeit it is one apartment, but the way they've recreated this for this game is just incredible. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go and check that out after this video.
And finish us off, Rich.
Sony's mysterious San Diego studio was assembled to expand upon existing franchises. I'm all in that it's another Uncharted game.
Yeah, there are rumours about that, aren't there? And I'm game for it. Out of the hands of Naughty Dog, I would have some concerns with, but Sony have not put many feet wrong, have they, in terms of their software lineup? So I'm sure they'll pull it off. But yes, that is everything we have this week, BArcadians. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the BA Gaming News Show. As always, we'd love to hear from you the comments about anything we've talked about today or besides, covering video games, and any hints and tips about Demon's Souls playthroughs as a Temple Knight and royalty. Make sure you smash that like button, really helps us to grow as a channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications to stay up to date with every single thing we put out there. And I think that's probably all we have to say this week. Another one for the archives.
Stamped and completed.